As you can see here behind me, this is a live video we have from the scene. You can see people walking away from the school all morning. Police have been telling people not to come near the school. You mentioned earlier, Kim, about the SWAT team going into the school. So I've covered school shootings before. That is a meticulous process. They go door to door, classroom to classroom. Because we have breaking news just into the WSAV newsroom. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrests 3 officers involved in the brutal beating of an inmate. Well, WSAV's Kyra Jones spent the day talking to frustrated passengers at Savannah Hilton Head International Airport about their experience trying to get back home. Hey, I missed you. I just want to say that. I'm glad you're back.
Well, I'm glad to be back. I missed you as well. And Happy New Year to all of you.
To everybody out there. All right, good to have you back. Still to come, the kind of story we just love to bring you. Right. I like the way you put that, which is a very diplomatic way of putting that, I think.
So I'm a therapist.
I mean, I wanted you to say, no, you don't have to be nice to him.
But you're a nice person and you value being nice. And so you want your actions and your behavior to reflect that.
I do. You know, we saw that moment when they announced the name. So we heard the people screaming in the back. Who was that? Was that your family?
It was. It was my family.
And we had an onslaught of media, not just from Savannah, not just from Georgia, not even just from across the country, but from around the world. And Ben, the message from the governor is this: the state is ready to respond to whatever Ian brings our way.
First News at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Edward Moody. Thank you for joining us. Tina has the night off. Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin remains sedated and in critical condition after suffering cardiac arrest and collapsing on the field during last night's game in Cincinnati. Maggie Vespa joins us now with the latest from outside the hospital where Hamlin's being treated. Horrified fans and players watched as a medical team worked on Damar Hamlin as he lay on that field. News 3's Andrew Davis talked to local first responders about what was going on in those moments and how you may be able to save a life yourself. Andrew. Well, we are taking a closer look now at what potentially happened to Damar Hamlin on that field last night with a local expert. We're joined in studio now by Dr. Randy Botner, an interventional cardiologist from Memorial Health. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's talk about cardiac arrest. It was not a heart attack. There's a difference there. So we just heard from some EMTs. They say that, of course, acting fast is important. CPR is important. If you don't know CPR, I mean, other than calling 911, what can you do? We've heard before, you know, an aspirin. Does that work?
No. Well,
Dr. Randy Botner with Memorial Health, thank you so much. I know you're busy. Thank you for coming and giving us this perspective.
My pleasure.
I am running for re-election as mayor of the greatest city on earth. I think that we have a record to stand on.
That is the word from Savannah Mayor Van Johnson tonight. He is officially seeking re-election. The mayor made the announcement at his weekly press briefing. WSAV's Kyra Jones was there. She joins us now with what else Johnson had to say. All right, thank you, Kyra. Georgia's controversial gun law is now in effect, but there are some important restrictions. We'll remind you what those are when we come back. You're watching WSAV First News at 4. Stay with us. I mean, Ben, it's safe to say that this debate lived up to the hype, right? We had protesters, demonstrators outside. We had an onslaught of media, not just from Savannah, not just from Georgia, not even just from across the country, but from around the world. This Walker-Warnock face-off was a spectacle to behold. Before the candidates took to the stage, their supporters took to River Street. With Herschel Walker already inside Plant Riverside, Senator Raphael Warnock made his way through the crowd. The media exposure global, outside and inside the venue. John Heilemann, the host of the Showtime political documentary The Circus, commenting on the expectation that Warnock, a skilled debater, would, quote, wipe the floor with Walker.
You don't want to have expectations that everyone expects you to wipe someone out, because all that other guy has to do is kind of perform credibly.
Ultimately, the voters will decide who won the debate, but heading out the door, Walker supporters were impressed.
He was very poignant and very direct with his answers to all the questions. He did a great job.
As were Senator Warnock's.
But really what I think was important about what Senator Warnock did is he kept bringing it back to the people of Georgia, kept bringing it back about ordinary citizens, and that's something that Herschel Walker's never dealt with.
So there was a room set up actually in one of the conference rooms that is right in this building behind us here that was called the spin room. That's where the candidates could choose to go to a stage after the debate and talk with media and sort of defend their performance, but they didn't appear at that microphone.
No, neither did, and we had heard that at least Herschel Walker was planning on going, maybe both of them, but I can tell you that there was a bit of a security scare, and so I think that may have played a role in why we didn't see either one of them, but I can report that that turned out ultimately to be nothing. Katie Schneider had just gotten home from work on April 5th when a tornado alert popped up on her phone.
We came out and looked up at the sky and saw the clouds moving, and it was like, no, this one's real.
10 minutes later, Schneider's Pembroke neighborhood took a direct hit. Her family huddled inside their home.
It felt like the house was breathing in, out, from just the pressure, and the pressure from the tornado just shoved you into the ground.
The twister blew out their windows and doors. It tore the house 2 doors down from its foundation. The Schneiders just moved back into their home this month as contractors continue to make repairs.
They're still not done. There's still stuff that they haven't finished, and we're about to get hit, this week with possibly another hurricane. So we're hoping the house survives.
It's still too early to predict what kind of impact Ian could have on an already recovering Bryan County, but county leaders are preparing for the worst.
If we need to move equipment outside of the range of the hurricane to bring it, come back in and help if it does damage and moves past, those are the things that we're kind of thinking about right now.
Bryan County Communications Director Matthew Kent says some county services are still working out of trailers following the tornado. He says heavy rain from Ian could pose more of a threat to lower-lying communities like Richmond Hill this time.
Be prepared for anything, really. Make your hurricane kits. Have enough water, have enough batteries, generators if you need that sort of thing.
Sound advice for residents who are already weather weary.
So it seems like this year the weather has got it out for us. For me, it's more of just like a here we go again.
In Pembroke, Edward Moody, WSAV News 3 on your side.